That's what it feels like to be on a keto diet and be able to eat cereal that tastes like maple waffles. Hey guys, welcome back to We Watched a Movie, and I want to thank Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video today. You know, I know we're a movie channel, but almost nothing brings me more joy than putting something delicious inside of your mouth. And let me tell you the worst part about the keto diet is it's going to the movie theater and not being able to have that delicious popcorn, not being able to have those sugary treats. I have a solution for you. Magic Spoon cereal. It's keto-friendly cereal that's made based off of the Saturday morning cereals that we used to eat as kids, all the sugary goodness that was inside of that. I'll put some of these things inside of little tiny baggies, sneak them in the movie theater, and just have the time of my life sitting there watching something that's probably 2 hours and 40 minutes long when it should be an hour and 35 minutes. That's what the snacks are for. But the point is that don't judge me for sneaking things into movie theaters, because you know that you've done it your entire life too. One time I put a whole box of gas station nachos inside of my wife's purse. That's a true story. But in all seriousness, they got tons of different variety and flavors that you can try. You've got blueberry, you've got cookies and cream, my personal favorite, the maple waffle that we just tried, honey nut, frosted vanilla, all sorts of different flavors. And you can use our code AsianT below to get $5 off a whole box of these shits. They are delicious, they're extremely tasty, and like I said, they are keto friendly and they make for great movie snacks if you're on a keto diet. So check out Magic Spoon in the link below using code AsianT. Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch a Movie. I am Mike, and today we're talking about Collateral. Is it a slasher movie? There's going to be two camps on this, all right? There's going to be one camp who has already commented in the comments below that it's like, Mike, you fucking asshole. This is a thriller movie about a hitman. What are you talking about, dickwad? And to you, I say, fair. I get where you're coming from. Or you can go with option B that just says, hey, asshole, we're having fun talking about movies, all right? Quit taking yourself so fucking seriously. We're having fun. You remember fun? Let me just pitch you this idea. A slasher film directed by Heat's Michael Mann, with Tom Cruise as the serial killer, as the slasher, and Jamie Foxx as his final guy, so to speak, or at least we think, set across the backdrop of nighttime in LA, and the whole thing feels like Heat. And the whole idea is LA's so busy, nobody gives a shit. A guy could die on a subway and sit there for hours and nobody even notices, because everyone's too wrapped up in themselves and nobody really truly matters. Jamie Foxx is a cab driver in the city. He takes him hostage and forces him to drive him around while he completes murder after murder, sometimes involving him in the murder, sometimes making him watch. Now, Vincent is so good at what he does, he's an unstoppable force. He's an immovable object. The cops can show up at certain times. Doesn't matter. He be in a public situation with his back against the wall, doesn't matter. He kills the person he's set to kill. He's unstoppable in those moments.
I do this for a living!
Now, in the final act of the film, his main prey throughout this whole film, Max, is the only one who can stop him from committing more evil and more mayhem. Does that sound familiar to you? It sounds like a slasher movie, right? So if you paint it in that picture, it sounds like a slasher movie. That's step one. Step two, it stars the perfect slasher. Tom Cruise is the absolute perfect slasher for a movie. Is anyone scarier to you than Tom Cruise? Think about that for a second. I'm not just talking about the crazy interviews and shit like that. I'm talking about the type of characters he plays. Think about his characters in Mission Impossible. Nothing will stop him. He has an unbreakable willpower that will get him through any situation. If Tom Cruise decides he wants to fucking eat you inch by inch, I bet he will. As a person and as an actor, if you look behind you and the guy that you know is wanting to murder you is chasing you and he's doing this shit and it's fucking Tom Cruise, you are dead. It is over with. That shit is scarier than Shia LaBeouf. Shia surprise. I cannot think of a single better actor who could play a psycho crazed serial killer murderer, whether contained like he is in this movie or not. He has those little bouts of rage just in his eyes and his smile and everything. I can't think of someone more frightening than Tom Cruise. And if you need any more info to back that up, Christian Bale's character in American Psycho was literally based off of Tom Cruise. Christian Bale based that character in American Psycho off of Tom Cruise. Number three, it has the psychology of a slasher movie. Vincent's motivation is literally his indifference to human life. Does that sound like anybody else you know? Now you might say to me, hey Mike, in Collateral, he's a hitman. He's a calm hitman. He's not a psychotic supernatural dude in a mask. Fair. Wherever the means of how he does it, he kills 16 people in the span of one night in Collateral. And it's not completely true that he is so calm and not psychotic whatsoever. Throughout the movie, there are many conversations between him and Max, the time that they have driving from place to place in the taxi in LA. Max cannot wrap his head around the fact that Vincent can just go out and kill people and just murder them with no remorse or second thought whatsoever. And Vincent explains to him, for the sake of conversation, that human beings don't matter. We're specks of dust in the galaxy. Why does he care? He doesn't know them. At one point he says thousands of people die in Rwanda and you don't give a shit. But you're all upset about one dead fat guy in the trunk?
There's no reason. There's no good reason. There's no bad reason to live or to die.
Then what are you?
They're different.
He's completely indifferent to the lives of other human beings, much like a Michael or Jason would be. They could care less. And also you have the character parallels, the slasher character parallels. Think about this. What I'm going to say next, it's not my own thoughts, okay? This comes from a channel. I'll put the link down below so that you guys can check out the video because it's a really good deep dive into the movie. But it's a channel called Life is a Story that did a deep dive video into the psychology of Collateral. And they brought up the idea that in this movie, Vincent, Tom Cruise's character, is a wolf. And he sees Max's character, Jamie Foxx's character, as a sheep. And he thinks that that's all there is to it. But he forgets that there's a third kind of person, the sheepdog. And he doesn't realize that that's what Max actually is. He finds that out as the movie goes along. Several times in the movie, Vincent tells Max, he's like, you try to run and I'm going to kill a bunch of innocent people right here. That guy's going to die right there. Every time you call for help, innocent people are going to die and it's on you.
What else you got for me? Huh?
So Max literally follows him throughout this movie, just trying to protect other people. And in the end, in the third act, when everything goes haywire, he literally becomes the protector of one person in particular. Now, who does all this sound like to you? The wolf, Michael Myers. The sheep, Laurie Strode's friends. The sheepdog, Dr. Loomis. Now, in a way, Laurie kind of transverses throughout these three things, throughout the franchise at least. At first, you know, she's probably a sheep. She quickly becomes a sheepdog when she's taking care of Tommy and Lindsay. And then later in the franchise, she becomes the wolf herself, specifically in Halloween 2018. But this idea, it works perfectly for this movie. Jamie Foxx, throughout most of the movie, is kind of the final guy, so to speak, but you find out by the end of the movie, he becomes more of a Loomis character. He specifically becomes the protector of Jada Pinkett Smith's character, who, yeah, I know, I can't stand her either. But in this, she was actually pretty good. He meets her earlier in the movie in a cab. He finds out that Max is going after her, and he ends up protecting her. In one way, I agree with the sentiment from Life is a Story here, that he is actually a sheepdog, but I think he actually transgresses to that. I think he starts as a sheep himself and then grows. His character grows to sheepdog by the end of it. By the end of it, he quickly goes from final guy to almost the Ahab in a sense, because he's had these conversations with Tom Cruise's character. He knows more about his psychology. He knows what he's going to do, and he only wants to stop him from hurting more innocent people. So the characters right there are like the characters of a slasher movie, right? You got your killer, you got your final guy, you got in a lot of instances they call them Ahabs, but in this instance I think it's more specific to call him sheepdog, although you could call a character like Dr. Loomis both an Ahab and a sheepdog. And finally, it has the third act of a slasher movie. The third act of this movie is the most slasher it all gets. Now, at some point in the movie, Max's character has gone through enough, and he decides, throughout these conversations, because they're both giving each other shit in the car, he's giving Max shit for not doing anything with his life. He's got these great plans, but he never actually does anything to pursue them. Max is giving him shit about how you're just an empty soul, you're pathetic, that you don't care about the human beings that you're killing for nothing. And at one point, they come to a crossroads. They're going to this final kill, or one of the final kills, and the soundtrack's awesome, by the way. Audio Slave's Shadow of the Sun's playing, and this coyote goes to cross the street. Now, there's multiple ways of looking at this scene when the coyotes cross the street. They both stop and look at him, and Tom Cruise's character looks shaken by it. I don't remember who it was that believes this, but some people believe that if you see a coyote on your journey, that it's terrible luck and that you need to turn back immediately because you're going to end up dead or with really bad fortune if you continue on your journey. And some people think it's that. I think that Tom Cruise saw himself in that coyote. You know what I mean? I think he saw that he was alone just like that thing was, and he was no better than this animal just crossing the street in the middle of the night with no purpose in life, no anything, because he just doesn't care. He feels as insignificant as that coyote does in that moment. Now, and that the channel I mentioned before, Life is a Story, they took it a different way. They thought that Tom Cruise was realizing in that moment, Vincent was realizing in that moment that, you know, he's so much more than what that coyote is and represents, and that he could possibly be doing something more. But just one of the main really interesting things that's in this movie. But in the third act, that's what we're getting at. The third act has the third act of a slasher like no other. Eventually, Max decides he has to go and protect people. He has to save this girl from Vince. So at one point, I mean, he crashes the car, he does everything he can, and Vincent is just unstoppable. He just keeps moving. But what's funny is when Vincent's plans don't go the way they're supposed to, he gets so pissed. And it's just like in a slasher movie when you're watching, right? And Michael Myers finally, someone hits him, or Jason gets hit by somebody, or they get one up somehow by their prey, and they stand up and they're visibly pissed off and they start breaking through walls and shit. And we all go, oh shit, he's pissed now. I love it. Here we fucking go. You better run, bitch. That literally happens here. Vincent's so cool, calm, and collected until he gets pissed off. And when someone does one-up him in any way whatsoever, he becomes rage fuel. In the final scene, he goes to the Attorney General's building, the person he's gonna kill, and he's in this office building late at night. He literally takes an axe, okay, to the power system and cuts the lights off, cuts all the phones out, and he's stalking through this building pissed off. Whereas before he was cool, calm, and collected, now he's taking chairs and he's throwing them out of his way, just like a Michael Myers or a Jason when they've got a finger up their butt and they're pissed off. And it's just a completely different demeanor. He's, you know, trips over a chair on his way out of when he's busting through broken glass, and he's chasing them down. He ends up stalking them just like a Michael Myers or Jason would. They have a huge head start on him, and he's stalking them somehow always right behind them no matter where they go. He chases them through a dark office building complex into a subway station, and even though they're so far ahead, he's always right there. He somehow knows which subway they get on. The subway takes off and they think they're safe, and then there's a shot all of a sudden of him grabbing the rail and he's on the back of it. I mean, it is a chase scene straight from a fucking slasher movie, and a pissed off slasher at that. And that's where the penultimate ending scene happens. Now, I don't want to spoil everything, you know, for those, the movie's been out for forever, so I wasn't too worried about it, but I'm not going to say exactly what happens in the end. I'm going to try to stay away from specific stuff like that, but watch the movie for yourself. Watch it. If you've seen it before, watch it again as a slasher film. And even though, look, I know he's a hitman, and I know we've seen Hitman do it, and every Hitman's not a slasher movie, but there's just little things about this movie that make it so fun to watch if you look at it as that. And how fun is just the idea of Tom Cruise as a slasher in a movie. It's directed by the dude who did fucking Heat and Last of the Mohicans and all kinds of great shit. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you'll give Collateral another watch, maybe before you go see Top Gun Maverick this week. And let me know your thoughts on this. It's a wild and crazy idea, but hey, that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk shit about movies and have some goddamn fun while we're at it.
Nobody notices.
If you all would please subscribe, we really appreciate that. Sharing the video helps a lot. Just click a quick like on the video and a comment down below. What do you guys think of this idea? How pumped are you for Top Gun or Mission Impossible? Which one are you more pumped for? I'm a Mission Impossible guy myself, but I'm excited to hear from what the things I've been hearing about Maverick. So, hey, I love your all's faces. Thanks for spending some time with me to watch this video today. And don't forget, the link for Magic Spoon cereal is below. So is my dick, by the way. Sup, dick?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover. Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you wanna know about the darkness?
I said, God damn.
God damn you, Michael!
I said, God damn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, God damn.
God damn you, Michael!
What are you gonna do on October 31st?